Okay, so a while back, I made a video about me having the genetic eye disease choroideremia. And since that video, nothing has really changed. I still have the disease. I'm still going blind. The only thing that has changed, though, is this channel has grown and gotten bigger. So at this point, I think it's time that I explained a little bit about what it's like for me having choroideremia. So when I was growing up, I had vision like every other person. Losing my vision was the furthest thing from my mind. But one day in my teens, I wound up finding out that as I was coming out to a lit parking lot in the dark of night, I couldn't see very well. I had a hard time figuring out what was around me because what was in the shadows, what was in the dark, was dark. Where there was no light, I could not see. And what was dimly lit was harder to see. That is how choroideremia starts, by losing your night vision. It makes things that are just completely in the dark impossible to see. And if there's a little bit of light, it's not a whole lot better. It's even worse when trying to transition between low light to bright areas and back again, as your eyes don't adjust to the level of light quickly at all. It can take forever if they decide to transition at all. Now, as I've gotten older, the next transition of this thing has started to work its way in, and that is the slow loss of peripheral vision. So imagine you seeing me right now as your vision, as the way that you see things. Now, I'm going to start bringing some black boxes in, and this is how my vision works. It gets to the point where you can't see what's on my right or what's on my left. You have no idea what is going on either side of me. In fact, there could be a famous YouTuber sitting right next to me and you wouldn't know that. Isn't that right, Markiplier? This restricted focus is what it's like for me, and it's frustrating. And there are even times where I can be looking at my hand in front of my face and not see my fingers or miss one of them because my focus is not right where it needs to be. To give you another example, when I am writing scripts for the channel and I lose the mouse pointer on the screen, I then have to try to figure out where it's at, and to do so, I will move the pointer of the mouse to the upper left corner of the screen to find it. But then again, I have to go from there back to what I was doing, and if I lose track of the mouse pointer, I have to start the whole process all over again. And trust me, that happens quite frequently. Now, there is a fix to all this, and that's moving further away from whatever I'm looking at. So when watching TV or playing video games, I have to sit further away, and also playing on or watching on a smaller screen helps. But I still find myself focused more on the center, and thereby on the opposing ends, I'm missing some things when watching things. To put that further into perspective, all those giant 50 and 70-inch TVs that people love to buy and watch their movies, TV shows, whatever on, in order to properly view something like that for me, I would have to be at the opposite end of the house from where that TV is situated. Not the room, the house. Or even better yet, outside would be a good option, wouldn't it? That's how it is. And for me to be able to view it properly. Now you might be thinking that all of that sounds pretty bad, and well, yes, you would be right. But then I have another extra wrinkle in this situation, in the fact that I don't have the central vision of my right eye. I only have peripheral vision, and you might be wondering how that happened. Well, that's a story for another day. The point is, though, this can get very confusing for my brain, because what I'll see in the peripheral of my right eye, I won't necessarily see in the peripheral of my left, because my left peripheral vision is worse. So I'll then be reacting to something that I'm catching a glimpse of in my right eye, but I may not be able to react to it in the way that I properly should have, because I'm only getting a glimpse of it, and it's a jump reaction that I just have to really quickly try to figure out what in the world I saw. Or I might see something in the dark a little bit better with my peripheral of my right eye than my left and be really confused and try to figure out what in the world I'm looking at. At this point, I think that my brain just tells my right eye to shut up sometimes because it's so confusing as to which eye is trying to figure out what I'm looking at versus the other one. Quite frankly, what I experience is hard to translate to other people. To tell them 1 minute I need help and the next minute I'm fine because I've accounted for everything that's around me. And that's kind of the big thing. You have to just know what's around you and be able to deal with it that way. And the worst part, I guess, of all this is I don't always want to talk about it. And it's not because I just haven't accepted this. It's because I don't want to dwell on it. Dwelling on it means that you're not going to be productive. And I don't want to not be productive. I just want to keep going and doing. I don't want to stop, frankly. There's a lot of life left and not necessarily a lot of time left to do it in. So if you've watched this video to the end and you know somebody that may be going through the same thing, please consider sharing it with them. And if you'd like to support me, then all I ask is that you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and consider watching another video. My name is INTJoseph, though. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.